The Act 4, Scene 4 is a very short scene of just 66 lines. And in this scene, we meet for the first time young Fortinbras, about whom we have heard twice in Act 1, Scene 2 and in Act 2, Scene 2. We meet young Fortinbras for the first time along with his captain and his 20,000 members of his troop, all set to wage war against Poland. After some time, we also meet Hamlet and his companions Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. The scene is a very important one as it has a soliloquy of Hamlet, and it also throws light on the very important theme of Hamlet, that is the question of honor. We know that the question of honor is a very important theme as almost all characters are trying hard to safeguard their own honor or the honor of their family or their country. When we think about the character of King Hamlet, the character of Polonius, the character of Laertes, the character of Hamlet, all these characters are trying hard to safeguard their own honor or their family's honor. When we think about young Fortinbras, he is also striving hard to safeguard the honor of his country as well as his own self. When we consider the scene, it also offers a very important message regarding the right way to safeguard one's honor. And the message is to lead a way of life which is based on sacrifice and selflessness. So it is through sacrifice and selflessness alone one can safeguard one's honor. And in the scene, Shakespeare is presenting before us an exemplary hero who is upholding his honor in the rightful manner. And the hero is young Fortinbras. Hi, welcome to the analysis of Act 4, Scene 4 of the play Hamlet, Prince of Denmark. The scene is an important one since the character of young Fortinbras is introduced for the first time. As we heard earlier, the character of young Fortinbras was introduced twice, and we heard about him through other characters in Act 1, Scene 2 and in Act 2, Scene 2. And we already knew about him as a man of determination and aggressiveness. And in this scene, we find him as a young man of great command and regal demeanor, as he orders his captain to go and meet the Danish king in order to seek his permission for a thoroughfare through Denmark to reach his destination, Poland. So we find again the determined move and actions of this young man who is going to make him an exemplary hero. And the scene also is revealing the polite and the courteous nature of this young warrior who is ready to wait until he is given the permission by the Danish king. The scene is also a very clear revelation of the character of young Fortinbras as a very important character of the play Hamlet, Prince of Denmark. And very soon we find young Hamlet enters with his companions Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, who will be meeting the captain of the young Norwegian prince very soon. As Rosencrantz and Guildenstern walk before him, and as the captain walks away, we find Hamlet utters a very important soliloquy of Act 4, Scene 4, which is in fact a fairly long soliloquy of around 35 lines. The soliloquy is important since we find Hamlet expresses his deep sense of astonishment and appreciation for the young Norwegian prince Fortinbras, who braves the weather and hardships in order to fight against the poles for safeguarding his honor. So naturally, Hamlet is engaging in self-introspection and finding how inferior he is to the Norwegian prince. And hereafter, in the soliloquy, we find Hamlet is indulging in self-condemnation as he is trying to find how forgetful he is as a hero about his important duties. He is chiding himself for being so forgetful of his duties, as he has very genuine and appropriate causes in order to become an active hero. We find Hamlet is chiding himself for being oblivious of his duties. We find him despising himself for forgetting the faculties and the talents which are offered to him by God by remaining idle and inactive. Whereas he sees in front of him the young Norwegian prince who is undertaking a very noble act in order to safeguard his honor. Therefore, Hamlet is finding himself someone very inferior who is so incapable and inactive. And he's trying to find why he is inactive. And he can't find any reasons for being so inactive, because he has the will, he has the strength, and he has the appropriate causes. But still he is inactive. And he is, towards the end of the soliloquy, he finds a possible reason. It can be his tendency to ponder upon the consequences of his action. And he realizes that it is his too much of pondering on the consequences of his action that might be leading to the unnecessary delay. Why, yet I live to say these things to do, since I have cause and will and strength and means to do it. So here we find Hamlet is trying to find the genuine reason why he is so much inactive, and he can't find any reason at all, because he has the cause, he has the will, and he has the strength for executing the action. Examples gross as earth exhort me, witness this army of such mass and charge, led by a delicate and tender prince, whose spirit with divine ambition puffed makes mouths at the invisible event, exposing what is mortal and unsure to all that fortune, death and danger dare, even for an eggshell. So here in these lines he is comparing himself with the Norwegian prince, young Fortinbras, who is undertaking a very glorious and princely act of valor, which makes him undertake an expedition at a very young age. Whereas Hamlet, even though he has the right cause of his father being killed and his mother stained, is still remaining inactive. Therefore, here we find Hamlet is chiding himself for being a man of bestial oblivion, and he condemns himself for having wasted the God-given faculties and talents which are not utilized for noble action. As the soliloquy progresses, we find Hamlet recognizes his own genuine causes. How stand I then, that I have a father killed, a mother stained? So Hamlet recognizes the genuine causes he has in order to undertake an action against the problems of his life, but still he is found so much passive. So therefore the soliloquy ends with Hamlet taking a very serious resolution to be firm and assertive hereafter. Oh, from this time forth my thoughts be bloody or be nothing worth. So we can consider the soliloquy as an eye-opener for Hamlet, as he recognizes that being a man of nobility, he has every reason and responsibility to safeguard his honor when it is at stake. Therefore, as the soliloquy concludes, Hamlet recognizes that it is not a noble action to stay off from action when one's honor is at stake.